Single dad saves a bride abandoned in a wheelchair, unaware she's a billionaire who changes his life. Daniel Kahn had lived most of his adult life with one goal: protect his little daughter, Ira. After losing his wife in an accident 5 years earlier, he became both mother and father, fighting every day to make sure his child never felt the absence that haunted him. He worked 2 jobs, morning shifts as a mechanic and evening shifts delivering food, barely making ends meet. But on this particular evening, as the sun began to set behind the Karachi skyline, Daniel's life was about to twist in a way he never imagined. He had just finished a delivery when he heard muffled sobs coming from the side of a decorated wedding hall. Thinking maybe a child was crying, he followed the sound, only to freeze when he saw a woman in a bridal gown sitting helplessly in a wheelchair, mascara running down her cheeks, her veil discarded on the ground like a forgotten dream. "Miss, are you okay?" Daniel asked gently. She lifted her head, and he saw eyes filled with heartbreak so deep it almost felt like the air around them trembled. "He left me," she whispered. "My fiancé. He ran away 20 minutes before the ceremony." Daniel's jaw clenched. "Why?" She laughed bitterly. "Because I'm in a wheelchair." He thought marrying a disabled bride would ruin his reputation. He said he wanted a whole woman, not me. Anger fired inside Daniel's chest. "You are whole. Anyone can see that." Her eyes widened a little, as if no one had ever said that to her before. "I'm Zara," she said faintly. "Zara Mirza." Daniel didn't recognize the name, nor did he care. He just saw someone suffering. "I'm Daniel," he said. "Let me help. You can't stay here alone." He lifted her discarded veil, placed it gently on her lap, and wheeled her away from the back alley, not knowing that paparazzi would later capture that exact moment and whisper about the mystery man who saved the runaway bride. He took her to a small cafe where he often brought Ira. The owner instantly recognized him and gave them a quiet corner. "You don't have to sit with me," Zara murmured. "You've already done too much." Daniel shook his head. No one should be alone on a night like this. Slowly, she opened up. She told him she wasn't born disabled. An accident 1 year ago had damaged her spine. Her fiancé had proposed before the accident, but after she lost mobility, everything changed. He started talking about postponing the wedding, then tonight he finally said it. "I can't live with a woman who can't walk beside me." Daniel felt something twist in his chest. "People like that don't deserve you." She stared at him, then smiled weakly. "You sound like someone who has lost a lot but still chooses kindness." He hesitated, unsure how she saw through him so easily. Then he told her about Ira, about his wife, about the struggle to survive. To his surprise, Zara listened with genuine sadness and admiration. Hours passed without either realizing it. When the cafe began to close, Daniel insisted on dropping her home, expecting a small apartment somewhere nearby. Instead, the driver to whom Zara gave the address almost dropped the keys. "Sir, that's the Mirza estate." Daniel blinked. Mirza. The name finally clicked. Zara Mirza, heiress to one of Pakistan's largest business empires. When they arrived, the massive mansion gates opened automatically. Guards rushed forward, and Zara raised her hand. "It's okay. He's with me." Daniel felt out of place instantly, like he was stepping into a world where he didn't belong. "Thank you," Zara said, holding his gaze. "I hope I can repay your kindness someday." Daniel shook his head. "You don't owe me anything." But she only smiled, as if she already had a plan. The next morning, Zara surprised everyone in her family when she wheeled into her father's office with a determined look. "I want to do something meaningful," she said. "I want to start a foundation that supports single parents, widows, and people with disabilities. And I know exactly who should work with us." Her father raised an eyebrow. "Who?" "Daniel Kahn." Daniel, unaware of the conversation, was rushing through another exhausting day, trying to gather money for Ira's school fees. When his phone rang and a polished voice said, "Mr. Daniel, Miss Zara Mirza requests a meeting," he almost thought it was a prank. But when he arrived at the estate, Zara greeted him with a bright smile. "Daniel, I have a job offer for you," she said. "I want to build a foundation, one inspired by what you taught me yesterday. Compassion, strength, real courage." Daniel stared at her. "But why me?" Her eyes softened. "Because you saved me." Not just from the alley. You saved me from believing I wasn't worth anything anymore. She offered him a position as director, salary triple what he currently earned, full medical insurance for Ira, and housing support. Daniel felt tears sting his eyes. No one had helped him since his wife died. Zara, this is too much, he whispered. You deserve it, she said. And I want people like you by my side. Over the next months, Daniel worked closely with Zara. Their foundation launched nationwide campaigns, provided wheelchairs, funded single parents, and became one of the most praised initiatives in the country. Daniel saw Zara transform, becoming confident, radiant, powerful. And Zara watched Daniel in awe. The way he handled challenges, how he raised Ira with so much love, how he always stayed humble. Slowly, something unspoken began to grow between them. Warm glances, long conversations. Ira adored Zara, calling her Auntie Z, and Zara's face always softened when the little girl hugged her. One evening, after a successful charity event, Zara asked Daniel to stay a little longer on the terrace. The moon lit her features beautifully. Daniel, she whispered, I used to think the person who left me defined my worth. But the night I met you, everything changed. He stepped closer. Zara, you saved me, she said, voice trembling. And without knowing it, you gave me back my life. Daniel swallowed hard. You deserve a man who sees your heart, your strength, everything you are. She looked into his eyes. I already found him. Daniel froze, emotions flooding him. Zara reached out, placing her hand over his. Let me walk beside you, even if life chose a different way for me to move. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Daniel gently took her hand, his voice breaking. I'd be honored. And somewhere in that silent night, a broken bride found a new beginning, and a struggling single dad found not just hope, but love powerful enough to change both their lives forever.